What's happening? And welcome back to another episode of the Account for Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore. I'm the healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. And today, let's look at something. Look how past ideas are keeping many, most, a lot of people broke, broke like a joke and ready to choke. I'm going to explain it, and hopefully today we can get some enlightenment into this area of past ideas and how it affects our lives, our businesses, our families, just about everything that we pretty much do. And so, welcome back to this episode, and let's jump right into it. We're not going to wait. Let's get into it. So, yesterday I made a post. I made a post on Facebook, and I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to yesterday. Yeah. I wrote a letter yesterday explaining to yesterday that yesterday does not get to control today. I said yesterday, goodbye. Do not try and, persuade me. Do not try and act as if, what happened yesterday is good, or even if it was good, that I should be really focused on yesterday. I should really be focused on right now. And so I wrote this letter after just kind of having some dialogue with myself, and I says, let me just put this out here. But now today, as I'm thinking about it, I says, wow, what is the impact of the past? What's the impact of the past? And so let's think about, what is the past? Like, in general, what is the past? The past is a period that has already gone by. So when we think about the past, and if we're thinking about our lives, and then we come to today, ask yourself, just like I'm having to ask myself, how like, for the things that I'm doing, is it based on my truth, on the ideas that I really have today? Or is it based on the ideas that maybe I had yesterday, in the past, or maybe ideas I was given in the past? Because this is so it's so important. Because when we think about yesterday, and we think about I think my wife said something to me last week, and she says, well, this is what we were taught to do. This is what we were taught to know. That was in the past. So if someone taught me something in the past, I have to figure out, does this actually get me where I'd like to go now, today? And if the answer is no, then what do you do? What do you do if the answer is no? This idea will not get me to where I would like to go. Here's here's one for our educated people. Which, before I say that, I have heard, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a business owner, it's harder. It's harder for the educated to do it. When I say educated, bachelors, masters, PhDs, these types of educated folk. I'm one of them. I have a bachelor's. And when I look at success, when I look at, not really failures, but when I look at just the roller coaster ride of it, and I have to ask myself, well, what is it that's caused me the most pain? And it comes down to the past idea. Because what happens is, when you get a degree, that degree was given to you in a way. It was given to you in a way that would be your ticket, especially for anybody that's African American in this country. That's what we want to call ourselves, African American. We're really just American people who are of color and living in this country. And if you grew up in a time when I grew up, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that was your ticket out of Newark, New Jersey. That was your ticket. We were driving, coming back from New York, and my sons Jared and Jacob, on Sunday. We were driving past Newark, New Jersey. We were on the New Jersey Turnpike, and that's where I grew up. That's where I live, because you can see the landscape of downtown Newark. And when I was there, it was like, how do I get out of here? And then Had the bright idea, well, I guess I need to get a degree, because if I get a degree, then that means I'll be able to probably buy a house. I'll probably be able to buy a house like in the suburbs. I'll probably be able to have a nice car, probably able, just life will be better long as I get this degree. And I got it. Now, here's the thing, though. Education is good. See, education is good. It's just that the past idea of what education meant, the degrees, oh, that's false. That's false. Your degree does not guarantee anything except knowledge that you may have about something. And in some cases, no knowledge. In some cases, I won't say no, a limited number. I look at my sons, they're both parallels. One is in culinary school. The other one is in culinary school they made it a degree program. It's just that it's still more like a trade school because it's focused more on the doing of the thing that you say you go for. Wherein Jared, he's in school to get a regular degree. They call it visual arts, which is like photography, not video, but it's photography. But they have not spent an enormous amount of time taking pictures, looking at scenes. They have not done an exorbitant amount of that stuff, just enough just to say you did some stuff. Not enough that he's confident. He doesn't have any confidence. Wherein Jacob in culinary school, he's very confident. He's very confident about what's happening because that's all they did. His first year, that's all they did. I want you to look at your kids. If you have kids and they went to college, what are they prepared to do when they get out? What are they prepared to do? What can they do when they get out? Like, are they ready to do something? Like when Jacob finishes, he can run a restaurant easily. He'll be able to do the thing. He's not going to be trying to figure out if he knows how to cook. He's not going to be figuring out. He already know. He will know that. And so, I'm looking at the parallels, and I'm just saying, wow, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Jared has got 1 year left of school, and the idea of the degree for him will leave him needing more education. More education. The education system would have failed him. He finishes out the year, he'll have a degree, and he'll still need more education. So when I look at that, I says, wow, that's a past idea. That past idea is not serving. It doesn't serve everybody. Certain things you don't need the traditional way of doing things. But here's the thing, because of the fact that I know we lived in the past. Had we not lived in the past, had the past ideas not been in our home, we would have made different decisions. We would have made different decisions. Why? One, because I just know you got family members who esteem these things. Oh, you got to have a degree. You got to have a degree. They esteem that above everything. They esteem that above everything. And because they do that, it's like as a family member, when you go against what the family wants, then they're looking at you like, what's wrong with you? Like you guys are crazy. And I remember, and during the COVID periods, different things that we kind of like bumped heads with family, which, at the end of the day, man, understanding how the past ideas are keeping us broke, ready to choke. The question is, well, how do we change that? If we know the past ideas don't work or they don't work today. Like if a person said, you know what, I really would like to start earning like first year working $100,000. If you go the traditional route, that's almost impossible. If I get a degree in visual arts, they're not going to hire me in a job for $100,000 a year in visual arts, photography, even video. They're not going to do that. If I get a degree in accounting and I come out, I'm not going to more than likely not going to get a job $100,000 a year. Maybe able to get 70, maybe, depending on if you go to a big firm, you're going to have to work basically 80 hours a week for it. If we were looking at it from the perspective of, okay, if we're not going to use the past ideas, what are the present ideas that we can use? This thing called the internet. We got the internet. We've got YouTube. We've got all these, like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. These are mechanisms. These are mechanisms that can be used so that someone could actually do something in today's language so that they can earn. You've got Amazon. You've got so many things that people can get into. That's opposite from tradition. But here's the thing. Most are afraid. But I'm going to tell you who's not afraid. The younger folks. The younger folks aren't afraid. Now, what happens with the younger folk that I find the biggest challenge for them is they have a hard time staying focused. Now, everybody does, but it's worse for them. I think it's worse for them because of how they grew up. Now, for people like me, I'm over 50. I can, because of the fact that I lived in a time without social media, I can disconnect myself a lot simpler than someone who's younger. They may not be able to disconnect themselves. They may not be able to not that you have to disconnect yourself, but you kind of have to disconnect from just being on it versus using it. So past ideas are definitely things like, going to school, getting regular types of jobs. Those are past ideas. The new ideas is just saying, hey, well, we live in 2024 and just about anything you want to do is possible. Anything you want to do is possible. Let's get honest about what it is that we want, what it is that we need, what we would like to do in life. And by getting honest, then we have to get honest about the money. We have to get honest about, well, if I really want to make $250,000 a year, well, how does that work? See, unlike if you try to get a job making $250,000 a year, that's not going to happen. That's reserved. Jobs at that amount are reserved for a small number of people. Now, you could start a business and make $250,000 selling a how-to course, a program on something you know how to do. And just about like I saw somebody have a program, teach people how to build up so they can jump higher. And the person made millions of dollars doing this. People teach people how to stretch. People teach people how to lose weight. Folks teach people how to save money on taxes. Folks teach people how to grow their businesses. There's all sorts of things. There's basket weaving courses, that people are teaching, or how to set up a YouTube channel, it's so wide open that what happens is, especially for anyone whose grew up in tradition, we have a hard time believing outside of the traditional things. I say we because I'm in that. It's not that I have a hard time believing. I say we because it's people in, from the older time periods. They don't have the belief because they've had a job for the past 20 years. They were taught that school was the best avenue. They were taught that, man, you just got to get a secure government job. They were taught all of that. And, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, even in my field, I saw that Donald Trump said something last week that cracked me up, but it was good. He says, man, I'm gonna get rid of income tax. I said, that's interesting, because I'm in that industry. How would that affect if he got rid of the income tax? Whoa, that would affect my business. What that means is that we have to make sure we are aligning ourselves in areas that we can control it. Because if I can't control it, then what happens is, as soon as they shut it off, if they do shut it off, if they make it challenging for us, then you're going to have to pivot anyway. So just knowing different things about what you're doing, that, I may need to pivot into a different area at some point. And I thought about that. I said, well, if that's the case, I should be thinking now, creating now about something else that we could do that will basically be something that will cannot be cut off. That's called using your gifts. When you have a gift, and a lot of times your gift is not just the thing that you've been given, but it's the thing that you've been given, meaning it's the problem that you've had. That's a gift. When you have a problem and you solve it, that's a gift. Now you can actually help other people solve the same problem and get paid for it. So thinking about it, that's not a past idea. Because that idea wasn't available back in 1995 when I got my degree. That idea was simply a farce. It was not even thought of. But then here comes 2015, 2016, and all of a sudden you can see how just about anything and everything you do that you know how to do, you can win selling it. So what does one do? Past ideas. Past ideas, just anything that was yesterday that you're holding on to. In the Word of God, it says that, forget the former things is in Isaiah. And then in Philippians, Paul says, forget the past, press toward the mark, toward the high calling. So we got to forget the past so that we can focus on today, the now, where God is sending us. God has given us all a gift, and that gift is something that we should use because we had a problem, we solved the problem, and then we just need to find people who need solving of this problem and sell it to them. Not give it to them. We sell it to them. That is the new age. That's what happens today. Instead of just giving everything away, you sell it. And it just depends. Like if you have a solution for a really, 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 really big problem, and a lot of people need to solve this problem, then what that means is, say for instance, the problem you solve is, there's millions of people that would actually buy it, then think about that. You got 1 million people buy something from you for $10. It's $10 million, $100. It's $100 million. I'm not saying 1 million people would, but what if 10,000 people would for $10? Look at that. Like, look at how fast, look at how you're able to move faster. Faster. That's the thing. It's faster. It's faster when we take on the new ideas and not hold on to the past ideas. So I'm going to challenge you today. I'm going to challenge you to look at how you're operating your life today. Figure out what are the past ideas that's actually navigating my day for me. The past side. What are the past ideas? And then once you can see what the past ideas were, especially when it comes to your money, not anything. Anything dealing with your money, those are the things I want you to focus on. What are the past ideas that I'm using as a way to get money? And then once you see it, then say, well, what are the new ideas? What ideas that are now that I should be using? What are those? Have those, write those down, then look at the potential. Where you at now, financially? Where could you be with the new? Then it's your choice. Make a choice, see what makes sense, and I say go for it. Don't allow the past to basically manipulate your present and your future, because when it does, you'll be broke like a joke, ready to choke. All right, guys, I appreciate you for joining me for another episode of the Account for Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the Healthy Accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.